today I thought I would do a tag. This is the Finally Fall tag. I have never heard of this one before and I am very excited to be trying it out. I'm not sure who the original creator is. It wasn't listed in the description that I saw, but I saw it on Bookable's channel, so I will link her video down below. Let's just go ahead and get started with the questions. The first question is, in fall, the air is crisp and clear. Name a book with a vivid setting. And the absolute first book to come to my head almost every time setting or like atmosphere is brought up is The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern, because it is just the most magical setting with such intricate details, and it just truly transports you into the story. It's such a well-written book, and it's whimsical and it's very character driven, but the characters are who they are because of the setting they are in. This circus that they have with all the different magical attractions and everything really just build the story and give a setting for these characters to meet and to compete, and it is just such a good book, and it's honestly a very like autumnal like vibe to me. I don't know why, but it definitely sort of fits that like fall winter vibes, and it is one of my favorite settings in a book. Number 2 is Nature is Beautiful but Also Dying. Name a book that is beautifully written but also deals with a heavy topic like loss or grief. I don't read a lot of books that cover that sort of topic. I tend to avoid them, but one of the ones that came to mind is Stalking Jack the Ripper by Carrie Maniscalco. Just sort of the series in general, not necessarily the first one, but based on the events of the first one, she goes through a lot of processing with like PTSD and all the things that happened in the first book and in the consequent books. She also did lose her mother as a child, and that is something she really has to come to terms with throughout the series, and it is just a really good way to observe grief in a book, because there's so much action and mystery in the story, but underneath all of that it really is Audrey Rose's story coming to terms with who she is and how her family has affected her growing up and how that it will affect her future, and it's just a really beautiful way that's written. And I also really like in this series is how grief is handled by Thomas as well, like the way that he interacts with her grief. He's always supporting her and not really pushing her to get through it, more so just sort of like standing beside her and letting her work through it in her own way, which I really love. Number 3 is fall is back to school season. Share a nonfiction book that taught you something new. I chose a recent nonfiction book, one of the few nonfiction books I read this year, and that is Intuitive Eating by Evelyn Tribole, and I read this over the summer and I really liked it. I learned a lot. If you don't know, intuitive eating is sort of this theory by this registered dietitian about intuitively eating based on your body's needs and wants, whether that be, you know, today you want strawberries or today you want a chocolate chip cookie, and allowing yourself to give your body what it wants in order to fight sort of these like diet eating disorder type of habits that are really pushed on us in today's society. And I learned a lot about how many things could be considered eating disorder type habits that are so normalized in our society with dieting and like crash dieting especially. So I definitely learned a lot. I think there is even more research to be done on this topic, and it's something that is like a lifelong journey, that you're always learning about your body, what it wants, what it needs, and learning to find that balance between nutritionally what you need and what you want, and like treating yourself with kindness and love and patience. So I really enjoyed this book, and if you've ever found yourself thinking more about food in the day than you think is maybe, I don't want to say normal, but if you think you spend too much time thinking about food and calories and all that stuff, try reading this book. I think you will learn a lot and it'll be really beneficial. Number 4, in order to keep warm, it's good to spend some time with the people we love. Name a fictional family, household, friend group that you would love to be a part of. There are so many books I could answer for this question, like literally so many. But I am gonna go with the Dumbledore's Army in Order of the Phoenix. I mean, is this even one of my videos if I don't talk about Harry Potter? But the sequences of Dumbledore's Army within the book and the movie Order of the Phoenix are just so good. I would love to learn magic from Harry like that, and to work with like all the characters as they, you know, develop their skills and learn, and they band together against, you know, evil Umbridge and, you know, later Voldemort, obviously. So I just really love that little family, and the fact that they like are doing it all in secret and they're all working together toward a common cause. I really love them. I don't know like which friend group I would be in. I don't know if I would be like in with Harry, Ron, and Hermione. I kind of feel like I'd be hanging out with like Neville and Luna and Ginny, like sort of the secondary group, I guess you could say. I really think I'd get along with Luna and Ginny, but and I just think it would be really fun to be a part of that. I would obviously be Ravenclaw like Luna, so I think I would definitely be best friends with her, I guess. But I just think that would be a really fun family to be a part of, and like if I could get invited to the Burrow for Christmas, that'd be fun, although they had Christmas at Sirius's house that year. But I would love to spend Christmas with the Weasleys and for Mrs. Weasley to make me a sweater, because I would wear it. Number 5 is the colorful leaves are piling up on the ground, shows a pile of fall colored spines. I don't have a lot of like all my books here with me, but I grabbed a couple that are like sort of reds and golds. So The Betrothed, whether I liked it or not, has a beautiful cover and a beautiful gold spine, so I chose that. The Lost Queen by Signy Pike has this beautiful like red and black and gold on it. This was a gift that I received recently. A Darker Shade of Magic by V.E. Schwab has this like red and black and white. It's not as like autumny, but I think it would be pretty like along with these books. And then lastly, I chose Leia, Princess of Alderaan by Claudia Gray. This is a Star Wars novel, and I like how it has the white, red, and white again, and how the colors just sort of are very like blocky, and I really like that. Number 6 is Fall is the Perfect Time for Some Storytelling by the Fireside. Sherry book wherein somebody is telling a story, and I chose one of my favorite novels of all time, that is The Book Thief by Marcus Zusak. The Book Thief is actually told entirely in the perspective from Death. He is looking down and is able to see a lot of the different characters that play into the story that is being told. It is one of the most unique storytelling books I have ever read. A lot of the times books are told from the perspective of the main character or, you know, the couple main characters, but this one you're able to see so much more of the bigger story. You're able to see all these different players that come into it, and I just think it's such a unique story. And obviously this question is about like telling stories by the fire, and I'm not sure you would sit around with Death hearing his stories, but that's kind of what The Book Thief feels like. It just feels like there's someone out there telling these stories that need to be heard, and it is just an absolutely beautiful and unique thing. Number 7 is The Nights Are Getting Darker, Sherry Dark Creepy read. And I couldn't think of any, so this one's gonna be a bit of a stretch. I can't like think of any scary book that I've read that I've also liked. I've read a couple thrillers, but I didn't like them, so I'm gonna go with A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J. Maas. Now hear me out. I know the first like 80% of it is not scary at all, but the stuff that's under the mountain, you have to admit, is creepy. All the trials she has to go through, and like Amanthra, or however you say her name, she's scary, okay? And this is as scary as any book I read is going to get. I literally couldn't think of anything without using Stalking Jack the Ripper again, because their mysteries can get kind of scary, especially in the second one. I think that one was the scariest to me. Yeah, I don't read scary books. I couldn't think of anything better than this, so just pretend that this is a scary book. Number 8 is The Days Are Getting Colder. Name a short, heartwarming read that could warm up somebody's cold and rainy day. There are so many books that I think could fit this, and a lot of them in my brain are historical romances, so I'm going to go with one of my favorites. It is The Rogue of Fifth Avenue by Joanna Shoup. She is probably my favorite historical romance author right now, and she just writes such good stories. There's definitely some darker themes in this one, but overall it's just such a heartwarming story as you see two characters who don't really like each other at the beginning and kind of have to begrudgingly work together. They fall in love, and it's just an absolutely beautiful story, and I love these characters. And the great thing with historical romances, or with romances in general really, you're kind of always guaranteed that happy ending, which to me there's nothing more heartwarming than that and more comforting than that. So that's why I really love to read romances, and I think this is definitely a very good one. Number 9 is Fall returns every year. Name an old favorite that you'd like to return to soon. I would really like to do a reread of The Hating Game by Sally Thorne soon. I actually recently received this as a gift, so I'm very excited to read it in physical copy. I have read this once before a couple years ago and loved it. It was one of my first romance reads, but I did listen to it on audiobook, so this time I would love to physically read this copy so I can just fall in love with Josh and Lucy all over again. Number 10. Fall is the perfect time for cozy reading nights. Share your favorite cozy reading accessories. I have a couple little ideas. So I love bookmarks. These are just some of them, but this was just a free one from a bookstore. This one was a gift from my friend. This is from the Thomas Jefferson Library in Library of Congress in DC. It says, "I cannot live without books." This is one I got off Etsy. It is a quote from, I believe this is from A Court of Mist and Fury. To the people who look at the stars and wish, to the stars who listen in the dreams that are answered. And then this is an old one. I got this at Phoenix Comic-Con like years ago, but it's Snape and it says always. It's one of my favorites because it's like metal. This was a gift from a group on Bookstagram. We did like a Quidditch Cup readathon, and the team with the most points or reading minutes won, and Ravenclaw won, so I got this. This is from Etsy as well. It's Outlander. It says, "It seems I cannot possess your soul without losing my own." This is one I recently followed this person on TikTok, and then I bought one of his bookmarks off of Etsy. I read so I don't have to talk to you. I have another one, but I think it's somewhere else. And then this is another one from Etsy. Rebellions are built on hope. It is a Star Wars one. I believe these are the same artist, if I remember correctly. They're a couple years old now. But I love collecting bookmarks. I don't know if those count as accessories, but I'm gonna go with it. And then this pink blanket, if you can see it, is something that I always have on my bed, which is a very good accessory. And then if it counts, I have a candle warmer that has coffee scented wax in it, which is the absolute perfect accessory to laying in bed and reading. So the very last question is share the autumn appreciation and tag some people. I don't really have a lot of like Booktube people, but I will go ahead and just mention a couple of my recent favorite Booktubers. I have been loving, I'm gonna look up their names so I don't mess them up. Avery Loves Books. She is a romance booktuber predominantly, and she makes some great content. So Avery, if you happen to watch this and you want to do this tag, this is me inviting you. And someone else I have been really liking lately, let me look up her channel name. Someone else I've been liking is Crystal's Bookish Life. She is a sort of mostly romance. I found her through her historical romance eBay book unboxing, and she has been making some really fun content lately as well. So Crystal, if you want to do this video, go on ahead, and I will tag one more person. Hold on, let me look up her. And then one of my Bookstagram, Booktube friends, I guess, Michaela May, she also makes a lot of really fun Booktube content. So if Michaela, you watch this and you want to do this tag, this is me inviting you. So that is my Finally Fall book tag. I hope that you enjoyed it. I'm sorry if the sound is not great on this video. I'm still figuring out sound stuff because I don't know how to do any technology. And also the lighting in my room was not great today because the sun is in a weird spot. But I hope you enjoyed this video. technical difficulties aside, and I hope that you are having a lovely autumn and you're finding some great books to read. I upload Booktube videos every Sunday, so I hope you come back and enjoy some more bookish content. Thank you for watching. Like, share, subscribe, and all that fun stuff, and I will talk to you guys next time. Bye!